Recording in progress.
Hello, hello, guys. This is Marni. I am just setting everything up on the back end so you guys get comfortable, get yourself situated. I'm just making sure that I can see everything that you send to me. I can see your beautiful faces. If you do choose to go on camera, I can see the beautiful faces of my wing girls. So hold tight. We're going to get started in about 3 minutes. You can say hello to everybody. You can also follow the instructions that are on the screen, which is drop into chat your name, age, and location. You can get ahead of everybody else by doing that, or you can sit tight and wait until we get started. But I love seeing where everybody's coming from. Amazing, 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 amazing. So hold tight and we will get started very shortly. All right, my beautiful wing girls, Amy and Melissa, are here as well. You guys are more than welcome to welcome these guys too as we wait another 2 minutes for everybody to enter. But yeah, say hi.
Hey guys, it's so fun to see so many people from so many places.
I know. Look at them all rolling in. It's awesome.
I know.
I'm so
Love
excited.
it.
All right. I'm just going to read some of the places that people are from. We've got Roger from San Francisco. We've got Eves from Montreal. We've got Rob from Laurel. We've got Todd from New York State. We got Jerry from Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Franco from Dallas, Texas. Albert from Hollywood, Florida. Alan from Central PA. We've got
I think
Jerry.
I saw somebody from Italy.
I know. We've got fancy people on here. Exactly.
I
Got
know.
Dawn from Thousand Oaks, California. Hello. I'm on the other side of the hill to you. We have Greg from Charleston. We have Dave from North Hollywood, California. Same to you. Right close by as a neighbor. We've got Fergie from Phoenix. Edward from Arizona. Jeff from New Jersey. Rick from Cincinnati. This is wonderful, wonderful, wonderful.
Panama as well.
Wonderful.
Colombia.
1 second.
All over. It's so exciting. I can't wait to talk to all of you guys. I know. We're going to have a great time. I'm really, really excited about this.
Wonderful. All right, I'm going to wait for a few more people to come in.
New Mexico. I got excited because it was Mexico. I'm in Mexico. So this is
And for some reason, this is not
someone
go on camera for some reason. Hold on.
Oh no.
Hold on.
Someone just asked whereabouts in England I'm from. I'm not, but I love it. I'm actually from South Australia.
He's throwing you off for, oh, there we go. Now I can go on camera. Sometimes when I share my screen, it won't let me get the screen to come back down. But hello, hello, hello. Welcome, 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 gentlemen. We're going to get started. It is 4 p.m. Thank you so much to all of you for being here. And for those of you who don't know, I am Marni, and tonight I am joined by two of my incredible wing girls, Amy and Melissa. These are not just wing girls. These are also my certified intimacy coaches who work directly with the men in my Inner Circle live coaching program, helping them become absolute masters in the bedroom as well as masters in all their interactions with women. So before we get started, I know I've asked you to do this already. I'm going to ask you again for anybody who is just coming on now. Before we get diving into the sexual secrets men need to know, I'd love to hear where everyone is coming from. If you have not put it into the chat yet, please put into the chat your name, your age, and your location. We've said hi to a lot of people. I see some alohas in there. I see Chris, who is 42 from West Springfield. I see Scott from Illinois, Kevin from Castro Valley. I see Scott from Australia. I see Don from Connecticut. I see Brian from Georgetown, Texas. I see guys from everywhere, from all over, different ages, different cities, different states, different countries, all coming together for one specific thing: to learn about what she really wants, the sexual secrets that men need to know. And I want to point out something, that everybody on here is from somewhere else. They have a ton of different experiences, yet you all have the same questions. You all have similar frustrations. You all have the same curiosity. So for tonight, you are the same. And that actually is a very nice thing to know, that you are not alone in having these concerns, these questions. We had 3,500 men sign up for this event tonight, and that's because we put a cap on how many guys can sign up. Most likely there's gonna be about 1,500 people on here tonight, but these are all men from all around the world who are just like you. So I just want you to take that in for a minute and just understand that you are not alone in any of this. And now Melissa, Amy, and I are here to be with you as a team to get these questions answered. Okay? So before we dive deep, let me handle some quick housecoming so we can give you our full attention. So I want everybody to stay on mute. Most of you have to stay on mute. You have no choice but to stay on mute, but please stay on mute unless called on during the Q&A portion of this presentation. So once we get to the Q&A section, we will be asking you to put your name and your questions in the chat. And if we call on you, we will unmute you when it's your time to ask a question. Please do not unmute yourself. And I'm saying this because in the past, we've done these events and people have unmuted themselves and shared their screen and shared inappropriate things, which is why I need you now to not share your screen or go off of mute. We will be recording, and the recording of this presentation will be sent after, I think tomorrow by noon, it will be sent out after you if you did register for this event. So there is no need for you to take frantic notes and for you to be distracted by trying to remember what we've said. Everything will be in a recording. You will have access to it for life. There's not a limited time. So please, please, please pay attention. Nothing is off limits in our Q&A session. Honestly, we've heard everything before. There's absolutely no judgment. As I said in the very beginning, this is a safe space. Everybody is here for the same reason, even though we're all different in so many different ways. I made Amy bring her vagina puppet so that she can literally show you step by step how to do things. So we're past the point of discomfort now, right? We are going to get intimate, and there is absolutely no judgment from anybody in this space. Okay. Again, this is my last note, but I already said this. This is a judgment-free zone, which means we, your wing girls, are not judging, and neither are the men in this room. We are all here to learn and share. Now, before we dive into the deep stuff, let me tell you something important. Oh, sorry, that was incorrect. I'm going to actually tell you exactly what's going to happen in the next hour and why this could be the most important hour you spend this year when it comes to your success with women. Tonight, Amy, Melissa, and I are going to pull back the curtain on the sexual secrets that women will never tell you directly, will never tell you to your face, well, unless asked. And Amy and Melissa are going to talk about that, but most often we'll never tell you these things. But here's what makes this truly special. This is not just a lecture. This is your chance to get answers to every sexual question you've ever had. We're not going to talk at you for an hour. We are going to let you interact with us and get the questions answered that you need. We're opening up the floor for a completely uncensored Q&A where you can ask us anything. And I mean anything. No question is too personal, too embarrassing, or off limits. You can go on camera, you can stay off camera, you can type your question into the chat, whatever feels comfortable for you. And you will get real answers from 3 women, including 2 certified intimacy coaches who work with men on these exact issues every single day in my Inner Circle coaching program. When are you ever going to get a chance like this? Okay, whether it's about specific techniques that you're curious about, how to handle awkward situations in the bedroom with women, what women are really thinking during sex, your personal situation with a specific woman, and challenges you're facing in the bedroom. And yes, we can talk about those things too if you want to bring them up. We can talk about ED. We can talk about coming too quickly. We can talk about what's another term, like premature ejaculation. That's what I was trying to think of. Honestly, everything is on the table tonight, and we are here to answer these questions. Tonight, you get direct access to the female perspective that you've been wondering about your entire life. Plus, we're sharing the sexual secrets that women will never tell you directly, the things we think about but would never say out loud, the desires we have but are too embarrassed to share, the turn-ons that make us lose control but that most men completely miss. And we're going to reveal what actually turns women on mentally and physically, and it's probably not what you think. It's probably the opposite of what you think. the secret thoughts that go through our minds during sex that most men never get to discover, why some men become absolutely unforgettable in bed while others are quickly forgotten, the specific things women wish you knew but were too afraid to tell you, and how to become the man she brags about to her friends and she can't stop thinking about. But here's what makes tonight different from any other sex advice you've ever gotten. Amy and Melissa aren't just going to give you generic tips. They're going to give you the raw, unfiltered truth from the female perspective, the conversations women have with each other that you're not supposed to hear, the secrets we share with our girlfriends, but never with the men in our lives. You see, most sex advice comes from men guessing what women want, or from other experts who've never actually worked one-on-one with real women to understand what we're really thinking and feeling. But Amy and Melissa, they work with our inner circle men every single week. They hear the real stories. They know what works and what doesn't. They've helped hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of men go from confused and frustrated to becoming the kind of lovers women fantasize about. And tonight, for the first time, they are sharing these secrets publicly. Whether you're single and want to be incredible with every woman you meet, or you're in a relationship and want to take things to the next level, what you will learn tonight is going to change everything. Because here's what happens when you finally understand what women really want. Single men report that women start pursuing them instead of the other way around. They become the guy women can't stop thinking about after just one night together. Men in relationships tell us their partners become more passionate, more adventurous, and Amy will speak to that 100% when I get her speaking, more eager for intimacy than they've been in years. But most importantly, you finally stop guessing. You stop wondering if you're good enough. You start knowing exactly how to drive any woman wild with desire. Now, here's why most men struggle with this. Most men think they know what women want in the bedroom, but the truth, you are operating with incomplete information, and it is not your fault. Again, it is not your fault. Nobody teaches this stuff. Your dad probably never sat down with you and explained how female arousal actually works. And your mom probably never told him how it actually works. Said sex education in school, forget about it. They barely covered the basics. Even movies and porn give you a completely distorted view of what real intimacy and fun sex looks like. So here you are, you're a grown man trying to figure out this incredibly important part of your life based on what? On trial and error, hoping for the best. Whether you're single and want to be incredible with the women you meet, or you're in a relationship and want to take things to the next level, you deserve way more and way better than just guesswork. And that ends today, because for the next hour, you're going to get the real education you never received. You're going to hear directly from these amazing two women. Amy and Melissa have years of experience working one-on-one with men just like you, single guys who want to be unforgettable with every woman they meet, and men in relationships who want to reignite that spark and drive their wives wild, taking them from confused and frustrated to confident sexual masters who know exactly how to drive a woman wild. Okay, I just want to say one quick thing before we get started. You're not here because you care about her pleasure as much as your own. Oh, sorry, you are here because you care about her pleasure as much as her own. You want to be better. You want to give her experiences she's never had before. You're not the guy who thinks good enough is actually good enough. Most men never even think to ask the questions that we're going to cover tonight, which is crazy that they don't want to know this information. Most men assume that what worked with their last partner will work with everyone moving forward. Most men think that technique is everything and connection doesn't matter. But you are different. You're the kind of man who says, I want to master this. I want to be unforgettable. I want her to crave me in ways she's never craved anyone else. And that mindset alone puts you ahead of 95% of men. You're already winning just by being here, by caring enough to learn, by being humble enough to admit you might not know everything. These are the kind of men that I absolutely love, and all women love. And that's exactly the kind of men that we dream about. Someone who cares about their experience, someone who's willing to learn and grow. So let's start with the foundation, something that's going to change how you think about sex completely. Her pleasure is completely different from yours. Your arousal is obvious. It's visual. It's immediate. It follows a predictable pattern. Hers, it's a bit more complex. It's like an orchestra of mental, emotional, and physical elements that most men never learn to conduct. Amy, tell them what you have seen and what you see in your practice.
The biggest complaint that I hear from the men that I work with isn't that they lack desire. It's that they really don't understand how a woman's body actually works. And they're trying to play with her body. They're trying to stimulate her body in the way that men are used to, like it's their own. And that just doesn't work.
Yes, and in our Inner Circle program, we see this transformation happen over and over again. These men come to us. Some are single, some are in relationships. They feel frustrated, sometimes even embarrassed, which is really understandable, thinking that they should know naturally all about this stuff. But once they understand how female arousal works, everything changes. And here's what most men don't realize. For women, arousal actually starts in the brain. It starts up in the mind. It's about feeling safe, feeling desired, feeling like you're completely present with her. And the physical stuff that all just unfolds, it comes after that. So just think about it. When was the last time you actually spent 20 minutes just focusing on her pleasure without even having to expect anything in return? When did you last ask her what her fantasies were? And when did you create anticipation for her for hours before she even touched you, or before you even touched her? That's how the brain works.
Yeah. And we work with men in our Inner Circle program whose entire dating and relationship lives transformed once they learned these principles. And for the single guys, they went from wondering if they were good enough to having women actively pursue them. And for the guys in relationships, sex went from something that felt routine or even stressful to something that became the absolute highlight of their connection.
And here's the kicker. When you learn what she really wants, when you understand how to read her body, how to build that mental and emotional anticipation, how to make her feel completely safe to let go, you become irreplaceable. You become the man that she can't stop thinking about, the one she brags about to all of her friends, the one who creates the kind of sexual connection that makes everything else in your relationship better as well. Now, I know what you're thinking. This all sounds great in theory, but what does this actually look like in practice? So here's what you need to remember about women. Her arousal takes time, and that's not a bug. It is a feature. We are built like this, and it works. She's thinking during sex, and you can use this to your advantage. Every woman is different, but there are patterns you can learn, and communication during intimacy can be incredibly sexy when done right. But how do you apply this with the women or the woman you're dating? What if she's not responsive? What if you're dealing with specific challenges? That's exactly why we're opening this up for Q&A, because every situation is different. Every woman is different. And the questions you have right now, which I can see in the chat, you're just like throwing questions out there, right? Need to be answered. Everybody's putting up their hands as I just said that. So in a few minutes, Amy and Melissa are going to take everything we just discussed about female psychology and help you apply it to your specific situation. They're going to answer the questions you've been wondering about, but were too afraid to ask. And Jess is also going to help us get people as panelists, I don't even know what it's called, but like move them over so that they can ask questions. Again, you can stay off camera, you can be on camera, whatever you want. So that is your foundation. Everything we just shared is the foundation of women and sex. Now it's time to get specific. Amy and Melissa are here to answer your questions about your situation. So to ask a question, just type your name in the Q&A. And actually, I think Jess is going to help by telling us who to call on first. And then we will be able to have people go off or take their muting on. Oh my God, I sound like a 90-year-old. Take your muting off. People will be able to come on and ask questions. Remember, nothing is off limits. We've heard it all, and we're here to give you real answers. So let's dive in. So drop your name, in the chat if you're ready to level up your game. And I see there's a bunch of questions already, and I'm waiting to see a message from Jess about who we are going to bring on. So while we wait for that, I am going to have Amy share a little bit of information for you while we figure out who will be chatting with us first.
So as Marni said, the sex ed that most of us got was incomplete at best. And for many of us, we barely got anything at all. And so I just want to start all of us off with a common language, a common understanding of the woman's body. And this, as someone was asking, this is my vulva puppet, not my vagina puppet. And that is the first thing that might surprise a lot of people is many of us were told that this is the vagina, but this is not. This is the vulva. And so this outer part of the vulva, this is where women have their pubic hair. And then there are, which is also the outer labia. And then we have the inner labia. And inner labia come in all different shapes and sizes, kind of like penises. Sometimes they stick out. Sometimes they're enclosed on the inside. Sometimes one is larger than the other. And all of that is completely and totally normal. And then you have what is the actual vagina, which is the internal part, okay? So it's the internal barrel where penetration happens. Now, what a lot of people don't realize is that women only have nerve endings on the front 2 inches of the vagina. If you ask any woman, she'll say that she feels sensation during penetration, but when she uses like a tampon or something during her period, we don't feel sensation when it goes that deep. So the most of our sensation is in that front 2 inches. And I'm going to give you a peek behind the curtain of what this looks like inside our body in just a minute. Now, the part that a lot of people are asking about is the clitoris. Now, what a lot of people don't realize is the clitoris is covered by a hood. And that does naturally retract as women get aroused, but it is initially covered by the hood. So if you are touching and you think you're touching the clitoris and she's not reacting, you may actually be stimulating the hood of the clitoris. Now, here is the key. This is the secret sauce right here. People think that the clitoris is just this little tiny nub, but it is actually the tip of the iceberg to a whole network of nerve endings that goes throughout her body. So all of this right here, these are the dorsal nerves of the clitoris. This is the entire clitoral body. Now, gentlemen, I need you guys to use your imagination for a minute because women and men, our bodies are actually all the same parts, just organized differently. So when we were all little embryos growing inside our mom's body around 8 or 9 weeks gestation, there was a cluster of cells. And had women been men, when the testosterone kicked in, it would have turned into a penis, but we're women, so that did not happen. So I want you to imagine now that if this part got closed, oh, my blur is a problem here, there we go, and the clitoral part tipped up, then that is the equivalent of the shaft of your penis. Okay, so our clitoris, the tip of the clitoris, is the equivalent of the tip of your penis, and it has a lot of nerve endings there. And the clitoris has over 7 times more nerve endings than you have in your entire penis. Okay, now additionally, here's the other part. These are the engorgement bulbs. So these fill with blood, just like the inside of your penis. So when you get erect, blood is what flows into your penis, and that's what gives you your erection. We have the exact same thing. However, for you guys, you can get erect in, I don't know, a minute. And for women, it takes 20 to 40 minutes. Most women, it takes 20 to 40 minutes to become fully aroused. 20 to 40 minutes.
Why is that?
It's just how our bodies work. It just takes longer for the blood to flow down into that area. And that's why when we say that foreplay, we all hear foreplay is important. Foreplay isn't important. Foreplay is critical. Foreplay is, generally speaking, the main event for most women. And that whole 20 to 40 minutes, it's because we need to get all of this fully engorged, all of this blood. Now, when that happens, you will see visual signs in the vulva because the vulva will swell. It'll change colors. The clitoris will swell. And that is when you are at full engorgement. And that's when she starts to experience the most pleasure. If you ask a lot of women when they first get started, we may really not feel much at all. It might even be mildly irritating. And so many women and often men give up in that first 20 minutes or so because they're like, I don't feel anything. It's not really working for me. I don't really know what's wrong with me. And they're like, never mind. You just go ahead and get yours. And the reality is, the experience is typically over for most women before it ever began because her body wasn't able to get into full arousal.
Well, actually, so Randy wrote, what do you do when your girl does not respond to touch and foreplay? So, which is kind of what you're talking about. They're just like, okay, I give up. I'm not feeling anything. So, what do you do? Knowing now as a man, it takes 20 minutes for a woman to be aroused. How do you allow her to get to that place of full arousal and not feel bad about not being as aroused as you are?
You know,
I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Melissa, because I've been talking.
Yeah, I'd love to answer this. Also, to how we see sex, like that question, if my partner doesn't respond to touch and arousal. If you know anything about the erotic blueprints, there's so many different ways our bodies actually try to turn on. So we're often looking at...
What do you do if you feel like you're being ghosted?
Oh,
yeah, if I can just go on mute, that'd be awesome. So many people are looking at sex as this one way, the sexual. It's like we're going to go towards P and V, we touch here. But if she's energetic, if she's sensual, if she's kink, if she's a shapeshifter, everyone is so different. So often the touch that they need to begin with. There's also about safety. If things need clearing in the bedroom, maybe there's been conversations that have been a bit clunky, like the bedroom. Is the place really tidy? Are there beautiful smells? Does she feel relaxed? Has the touch actually started up around her head? Has the rest of her body relaxed? If the touch and the foreplay is going straight to the genitals, it's way too early. It's like it's approaching the body from a masculine point of view. So, and every woman's different. Some women are really hot. They're like 0 to 100 within 10 minutes if they're in the sexual blueprint. And a lot of people don't understand about the erotic blueprints and the different types of blueprints. So it is all around knowledge and learning. And also, too, one woman's map is very different to the other woman's map. So we need to learn about our own bodies and about the women that we're engaging with because everyone's so different.
And this is something that we definitely cover in the Inner Circle program in people's one-on-ones. If there's a specific woman in their life, you guys help them figure out what their erotic blueprint is so that they can be the master of her body, which I think is amazing. Okay, so thank you, Amy and Melissa. I want to go to Bill, who has a question. Yeah, you can go off mute and ask your question, Bill. Thank you for coming on camera, and thank you for being here tonight and asking questions.
Hi, Bill.
Hi, guys. So I've been dating this woman for a couple of months. We've slept together multiple times. And I definitely enjoy giving oral to women, and they have a good time. So this particular person is one of the first ones lately that doesn't seem to want to reciprocate. So what is a tactful way to approach that? Or asking her about it or whatever?
Good question.
Go, Amy, if you want.
Sure. There are so many different reasons why a woman may be hesitant to perform oral sex on a partner. And I would say probably the number one reason typically has to do with confidence. Normally, she just doesn't feel like she's good at it. She doesn't know exactly what to do. Perhaps someone in her past has told her that she didn't do a good job. Or a lot of times there's a lot of shame and guilt that also comes up if she, depending on how she was raised, she might have gotten a lot of different messages. And it's challenging a lot of times for women to work through that. And of course, it's wonderful when it can be reciprocated. So I think asking the question, is there help me understand a little bit about why you're hesitant about this, seeing if you can get her to share a little bit about what is going on there, because again, it's really what the root cause is. Certainly another thing, and this may also go into her past, but I think it's also very important, and I feel like it shouldn't be said, but I think it does need to be said, of, just making sure like there's good hygiene. A lot of times there's unfamiliar tastes, unfamiliar smells. I'll be honest, just like you probably don't want to like suck on a big hairball, neither do we. So making sure that we're trimmed and shaved is really, really is important, I think, for a lot of people. But again, I think it does go back into confidence is probably the biggest thing why I think a lot of women may be hesitant.
Amy and Melissa, let me ask a question. What if Bill is amazing and he is so curious and he makes her feel really safe about this conversation, and she just says, I don't like it. I don't like it. How does he express to her that it is important to him? Reciprocity is important. Pleasure is important. How does he bring this up to her without saying like, okay, you better suck it or we're not going to be together? Having
Don't
her,
say that.
Don't hear that. But how like, even if he says in the sweetest way, how does he avoid her hearing that he is putting on the table, well, you're going to have to give me blowjobs or else we're not going to be together?
Well, I think there's one thing around understanding of also to asking her, it's like, is there a reason why? And then I have a beautiful question that I love giving, which is, what do you need from me so that we can talk about this? What do you need from me so that you can give that to me? Because in our sexual relationships, there's often this concept of like, well, I don't do this. And yet if we go into like how we do life, how we do one thing, how we do another, like if you really love steak, but your partner's always eating fish, she's going to cook you a steak to make you happy one day. Yeah. We're talking about within reason. So in sex, if you get to share with her, like, this is how I feel when I receive a blowjob. This is what it means to me. It's really important because I know men feel really seen and received through oral, and it's a very important part of your makeup. So then the discussion becomes into this place of, what do you need so that we can get to the next step of the conversation? And then you get to that. So what more do you need from me so we can speak more about this? Because it could also be trauma. I love what Amy said about confidence, but a lot of women have their head held down and it can be quiet. And so if that's imprinted into their body, then it could just be, it's like, I don't want to be stuck down there, or I don't want to be held down there. And it's like, oh, I'm not going to do that.
Hands free.
That's right. You can tie me up.
Yeah.
But I think that question is like, what do you need from me so we can have this conversation? I would just love to converse. So we go step by step by step.
Yeah, I love that. And what I heard you saying was that it was really important for him to also share his perspective, because putting somebody on the spot of, okay, well, I want to understand why you don't want it. Why don't you want it? Why don't you want it? That's a lot of pressure. So Bill, what I'm hearing Melissa say and Amy say is that you opening your mouth and say, let me tell you a little bit about what oral means to me. For me, it really means deeper connection, because a lot of women have assumptions about what it means to you. It could just be like, oh, I got a blowjob from this girl. But if they start hearing the why behind it, and you have to really think through, why is it that you want a blowjob? Why is it important to you? It feels really good. It feels it's different than sex. It brings me closer to the people that I'm seeing. That is something that you can share with her, because I think that opening up an intimacy starts with you. You are leaders. You are men. You lead the conversation. You lead the sharing and opening up. And hopefully, maybe not right away, she'll follow and reciprocate with the sharing, and then reciprocate with a good BJ.
and I was thinking at the point maybe after, when we're like, holding each other, cuddling, lying in bed, might be a good time to bring it up, right?
Maybe. I'm really into create a date about it, because that could feel, yes, if you've got this afterglow, it's really beautiful. But if it's like, hey, babe, there's something I really want to speak to you about. Don't worry, you're not in trouble, but there's something important I would love to share with you about. And take her on a beautiful wine and cheese date or a beautiful coffee date, so that it is actually outside of the bedroom.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
I agree.
It doesn't feel as high pressure.
Yep.
It feels more like a mature conversation at that point between two people, rather than a, hey babe, like, I want a BJ
Yeah.
right now, right? That's more
Yeah.
high pressure.
Right after might feel like criticism, even if it's not, like we just had this really wonderful experience. Well, I really wish we'd done something else.
I wish it was a little bit different. Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree with that. Okay,
Thank
thank you,
you.
Bill. Does that answer your
Great.
question? Okay, wonderful. All right, Jason is next. So Jason, if you want to unmute yourself, Jason Rankin, if you want to unmute yourself to go on next. And actually, I'll ask you to unmute. If you don't want to ask a question anymore, I'm going to go on to the next person in 3, 2, 1. Okay, Brian, I'm going on to you now. Brian, I'm going to ask you to unmute yourself if you want to ask a question. Perfect. Awesome. Hi, Brian. Oh,
Hey, Marni.
awesome.
Great to
Ask
see you.
away.
Sorry, I joined a little late. I was at a night doctor appointment today, and it may have already been covered. But what is a good way to bring up fetish? You know, like, and what?
We were just talking about this before we started the call, so that's a very good question. Yeah, Melissa, do you want to, or actually both of you? This is like your wheelhouse, both of you.
Yeah. Ryan, first of all, I actually want to speak about wording, and this may or may not be really important, but a fetish is something that someone needs to have an orgasm, whereas a kink is a grander desire. So I just want to get our wording correct because it is important in many communities. So if someone does not have their fetish present, that means they will not have turn on. Whereas a kink is like, yeah, you could be tied up. Yeah, you could use a blindfold. But if you don't get tied up and you don't have a blindfold and you don't have a ball gag and you don't have a butt plug, you're still going to have orgasms. So I just want to clarify that first.
Yes, thank
Good
you.
clarification.
And I would say kink in this situation more so, you know.
Beautiful. I mean, when is the right time? I mean, it depends, I guess, if you guys have seen each other for a little while. And once again, just as we said to Bill, create a conversation that's outside of the bedroom that feels really exciting. They're not in trouble. There's really great kink sheets. Like it depends, you can find many people online. And if you work with me inside of the inner circle, like I have, which I'm happy to pass on to any wingo. But we have kink sheets that people fill out and these are like 56 different questions. And so you actually offer this to your lover over dinner, which is so much fun in a restaurant, because why not have people look and be jealous?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, what's going on over there? But because when you're speaking about your desires, it's also about how the desire operates, what people are willing, what are their boundaries, what they need from you to explore things further. So I think kink sheets are really, really powerful because also too, they're reading something on a sheet because it's not just about, oh yeah, I like to be whipped. Okay, where, for how long, what type of whip, what type of leather, by who, in what type of situation. All of these things are really, really important. But I think these conversations are an incredible invitation, and we do need to normalize them a lot more because a lot of people keep them hidden. So you're doing the work of bringing it out into the open. So I don't know, if you're seeing someone for 3-4 weeks, it's time.
Well, what if somebody has never explored that world before, right? They probably have kinks but don't know about it. How do you slowly introduce it? Or do you not? Do you just pull the Band-Aid off and say, like, have a very casual conversation about kinks? Because for me, I think I would be flabbergasted at that conversation 15 years ago, right? Where I'd be like, I don't know how to answer any of this. I'm really uncomfortable. I have to leave. So how do we ease somebody into this if this is not a world they've ever been exposed to before?
I think leading with, oh no, go ahead, Melissa. I was going to say leading with curiosity, I think is a good place to start. And also recognizing that a no, and it's important to respect a no, but a no also may mean not right now, right? Like you said, 15 years ago, you were like, oh, I don't know, I'm not really sure. But especially if you're in a long-term relationship with somebody, revisiting that over time, certainly I think there is a value in that, because relationships do change. We do evolve. The things that we are interested in, we do become a little bit more open. We can become a lot more open, especially we've been together for longer, and there's more trust and there's more vulnerability that has been built. And so, leading with that curiosity of, this is something that I've been curious about. This is something that I've been thinking about. I'm curious what you think about it. I'm curious if this is something you would ever consider exploring with me, right? And that's not a hey, I really want to whip you. It's a, would you consider exploring this? Like, I want to learn a little bit more about it. Maybe we can try it. And I think it's also important to recognize that bringing something in and you try it, and I mean, obviously, hopefully both people really, really love it and it's a lot of fun. But if you don't, that's also okay. It doesn't mean that you're committing to, okay, we're definitely going to be flogging every single time that we have sex from now on. And I think when you approach it with curiosity and with an exploration mindset versus a like, oh my gosh, like, I really hope that we like this. And if we don't, then this can be a failure, because I think that's where a lot of people get stuck.
Yeah. And I think, that's, as Amy said, everything's curiosity and information, where the thing is, it's not like high stakes on everything that you try. And once again, it's that question, what do you need so that you're comfortable with this? And just as like, if you're going to start making sourdough bread, you need a starter, you need YouTube videos, all of that stuff. Within this world, there's so many workshops around boundaries and consent. It could be like, why don't we go to a workshop around communication, boundaries and consent? How do we bring up these topics so it's not coming from you either? It'd be like, why don't we both go and learn together?
I always find that third party, like having a third party being present, and I mean that in a different way than you just said. Like, so for example, if you are just starting to date somebody and you want to know if there is like that kinky or sexual side, I would bring up articles that you've read or books that you are reading, right? Because then it's, this book said this article said this, but then it brings the conversation into your sphere to discuss these things rather than this is what I like, this is what I want, which feels very pointed towards that person. So that's one way that you could bring it up, by talking about articles you read and like giving your take on it. The other way that I always find really playful, and you can use this even about sex, you can use this about anything. What you can start doing is you can start playing a game where you're at a restaurant. If you're like on your fourth date or something, you've had sex already, and you want to sort of plant the seed for kink or for other things, you can start looking at other people who are in the restaurant and making up scenarios about who and what they are and what they like in the bedroom, right?
Ooh, that's fun.
Again,
like
it's
that.
putting it onto other people and making it fun, which it takes away the, I'm going to say ick. It's not ick, but if from her perspective, it might be ick. It removes that and the pressure from the conversation, where it's like, oh, I think that guy totally likes to be pegged. Wait, have you ever been pegged? Right? So you can, like, you could just transfer it over to have that conversation. I wouldn't say directly like, have you ever been pegged? But you know what I mean? You could transfer it over to her so that it is a more casual, fun conversation. And if you see that she's buying into this idea and what she's throwing out there as options of what others are doing, you can see how extensive her vocabulary is as well, and her knowledge base. So those are just two ways to make it a little bit more playful and not feel as aggressive, right, with the other person. All right, I want to go back to Jason, but Brian, thank you very much for that question. I think I'm going to give Jason one more chance to come on and ask a question, because he was the third person who had raised his hand.
Thanks for the chance, Marty, and thanks.
Oh yeah, of course, Brian. Thank you so much for asking that question.
All three of your perspectives were very helpful. Thank you.
Oh, amazing! I love that. Thanks, Brian. All right, I'm going to go to Donald, because Jason doesn't seem to be answering. So Donald, actually, I can't.
Oh no, there's Jason.
Oh, Jason's coming on. Perfect. Jason, okay, and then take yourself off mute.
He's driving. Be safe.
No, seriously, you guys are
Hey
rebels.
everyone, how y'all doing today? Hey, can you hear me?
Good. Yeah, how are you?
Yeah, we can hear you.
I was having some difficulty earlier. My main question is, I'm going through a divorce after 28 years, and I'm getting back out there. And my thing is, from being in married mode to now not being in married mode and having that insatiable lust and desire and getting back out into the whole full swing of things, right? I want to be able to have that, which I've had some good luck lately. but it's just trying to keep that libido and the erection factor going.
Oh, wait, what was that quote from our Ring Girl meeting the other day?
A patient wolf.
Yes.
A gentleman is
a gentleman is just a patient wolf. That was the best saying that I've ever heard, and it definitely pertains to what you just said, Jason. And that pertains to every single man who is on this call. There's nothing wrong with being lustful. There's nothing wrong with having desire. There's nothing wrong with wanting to pounce on the woman in front of you and like just devour her. But a gentleman is a patient wolf. A gentleman is somebody who can control themselves by acknowledging, I have this desire, but I don't need it right now. Right? So, Jason, I understand where, I mean, sounds like you're getting to have a few meals, right? So you're not exactly so anymore right now, but there's nothing wrong with in having a strong, voracious sexual appetite right now and liking that. So,
I love that. I love it. It's just, I think my problem is having that confidence because your material has been working great on getting back out in the dating scene.
Nice.
And it takes more than just, I mean, it takes the talking and bringing all that in. And, after being with one person for 28 years and then going through this, I'm sure divorcees on here can relate and widows. Whatever.
Yeah, you're going from the we mode to the I mode. You're transferring from relationship mode to individual. So tell me exactly where the sticking points are for you, because I
think my thing is the confidence. Not let stuff get in my head.
Like what?
And I'm meeting multiple women now, and there's different layers of the psychological, obviously, of it with the talking and going through and when to press and when not to press on with stuff. So.
Okay, and that's where the difficulty is when to pursue and when not to pursue.
Yeah, well, like for instance, I'm not in the mode to get into a relationship now, right?
Yeah.
And I had sexual relations going with a lady, and thanks to your program, it helped bring it to that. And I've been very clear and concise and upfront saying, hey, I cannot get into a relationship right now, obviously, after 28 years.
Wait, so I'm actually very confused. Where's the problem? Right? Am I confused? Ladies, are you hearing me? All I've heard you say is that you're having great sex, and you're getting dates, and you're being upfront and honest with the women that you're having sex with. So I'm not hearing the lack of confidence. So tell me where you are still having these issues, and then we can.
I think the factor for me is maintaining the erection.
Well, that's it. Okay. There we go. Right. There we go. There's the question. All right. There we go. Melissa, it's all yours.
Practice. Look, I always say it's just like sports. Yeah. If you're going to play soccer and you're going to play a grand final on a Saturday on the weekend, you train, you eat well, you train on your own, you train with the team before you get on Saturday. Same thing with your self-pleasure and masturbation practice. You train, you masturbate well, you get into Taoist and tantric techniques where you're keeping this energy inside of you. If you're always just going, like the moment that you have an erection is when you're with the woman, and therefore there's ejaculation, you're just setting up this loop that is quite, it's kind of like the adolescent way that we have sex, which is 1 + 2 = 3, and now it's done. And I'm not saying that, in a derogatory way. It's just like we're staying in the same mode. So you train your cock, you train your sexual energy, just as you would train to play soccer.
So you better get to some training, Jason. Lots of masturbation. But also
lots of masturbation, I'm hearing.
Yeah. But it sounds like, but masturbation with purpose, right?
Yeah.
Right, Melissa? So that it's not just like, let's finish fast. You're training on how to last longer on your own without the external pressure.
Yes, with lots of different, and without ejaculation. You don't want to be ejaculating all the time.
Yeah.
That's just depleting you. So yeah. But Amy, I know you've got something to say. I love hearing what you've got to say. Let's go.
Yeah, I think the other thing too is I think so many men put so much pressure on having a big hard cock, right? And I have to have this big hard cock, and if it's not there, and if it's not working, and if it's not working the way that it did in your 20s and 30s, because our bodies do change, and so do ours, by the way, women, recognizing that a big hard cock isn't the end all be all of sex. Because as I said a little bit earlier, really all you have many other parts to you, Jason. You have fingers and you have a tongue and there's toys
Let
and there's
tongue take over for me.
yeah. So like, and like most women, I won't speak for all women, but I'll say most women like 5 to 8 minutes of intercourse is like
Yeah.
that's good. That's enough. If you have taken care of everything else, and she has had lots of wonderful orgasms with your tongue and with your fingers and all of that, then intercourse is kind of a bonus there. So if your penis is not behaving the way that it's been behaving all of your life, then just don't worry, don't get in your head about it. Take a
Give it
little
a break.
break.
Well, she did
Like
work with me thanks to that, to the foreplay. I will give it that, and we came together, so that was a good
Oh,
thing.
that's amazing.
yeah,
Boom,
yeah. I
boom,
mean,
But it was
less.
just
I think
maintaining
Jason just came on here to brag. That's all. That's all.
Oh
Yeah.
no!
I'm joking.
Maintaining
I'm
the
joking with
relationship.
you, Jason. I'm saying what it sounds to me like you are doing everything right, but I would take the advice that Melissa and Amy gave you about doing some work on your own to have you lasting longer. And one thing that I don't think either of you did mention, but I'm sure that you would have, is that if you find that you are getting too excited, you can always take a break and just say like, let's focus on you. You just heard
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you came on late, but Amy said at the beginning of this call that it takes 20 minutes for women to become aroused.
Minimum.
So, like, give her some time. Start,
Yeah.
kissing her legs and licking her nipples and,
And that was hot.
touching all
Now,
over
see,
her
that's
body.
getting me going. So that's good.
Oh,
And one other fact that I think is so important for people to understand too, for men to understand, is less than 18% of women reliably orgasm on intercourse alone.
yes.
Less than 18%
Yes. I am one of them.
reliably orgasm. Yeah, I am too.
In the less
Everything else is
is
way
not orgasming just from.
yeah. That's 80. I'm sorry, I'm a sexologist, not a mathematician. It's 82%.
82.
Hey, I
Thank
do
you,
want to
thank you.
say this. All the course material from you all is just top notch, 5-star. I give it 2
Love
thumbs
it.
up.
Amazing.
It's a great.
Repping from
Thank
the
you.
East Coast, no doubt.
Awesome. Thanks,
Y'all are
Jason.
awesome.
Really good
So
question.
I'll let somebody else have what
Okay.
the pull or
Thank
whatever.
you.
I appreciate it.
Okay, awesome. All right, we are going to go to Rod next, and there's R. Kelly, Chad, Dennis, Charlie, Sean, and Danny. So please hold tight. So, Rod, if you want to come on, you are more than welcome. Okay, then I see you.
Hey.
Wonderful. Ask your question. Hi, Rod.
Hi. I'm all over the board. I was married for 20 something years, got back in the dating scene a few years ago. Met a few girls here and there. The last girl I met, I think she fits the narcissist thing. Never really even thought about that. Never really knew what it was, but so I'm battling that issue with her. I gave her space, kind of didn't. I didn't like. I tried to act like like I didn't have to have her around. She went and chose another gentleman shortly after we broke up. And we dated for like 6 months, and then 2 months of messing around, and then anyway, how can I say this? She bought me a ring to get married around the 5th month, and I told her no because not yet. I said let's just hold off. We're getting there, and then everything went downhill from that point on. The first 3 or 4 months, it was the best part of my entire life.
Yeah. Sounds like you're about to get into ex-wife number 2. That's what I'm hearing.
She would probably be because of all this. The main thing, one of the questions on there was, I need help getting, the sex was amazing. I mean, and she provoked it every single day. She was 12 years younger. And it was like, it was every day. She'd just get undressed. And I'm just crazy shit like that. And so that's the part I'm having issues with. How do I get over that? And she still texts me every once in a while. She texts me today. I avoided her. I tried to avoid her, and then
let me stop you for 1 second.
Yeah.
So the question is, how do you move past this situation, and then how do you date somebody who maybe does not want as much sex but is a little more sane? Is that what I'm hearing you?
The sex was okay though. No, at first I thought it was like at first is what I really wanted, but then I'm like, you know what? It's kind of too much. But I'd rather have too much than not enough. So it was a sexy sexual experience. I can't get that on my head. She even bought me an experience for my 60th. I'm over 60. She bought me a flying high, a sky high.
I'm gonna try to get you down, okay? Because I hear you're like all over the place.
I know.
What's the question that you want to ask? How do
I get her out of my head? I'm starting to date other women, and it's hard for me to get to that point, to like the sexual part, because I'm just a little bit shy. With her, it wasn't. She just boom, done. But I'm just saying, how do I get her out of my head? Do I answer her questions back? She'll hit me up every 3 or 4 days with, "Hey, I see that you're doing all kind of fun stuff. Hey, how's your dog? How's my buddy so and so?" That kind of stuff.
If you're done with her, which I think you should be, based on what you've told me, I think you just said either you make a grand announcement of, "Hey, I had a really great time with you. I think it's best if we, cut ties. I've moved on." But I wish you all the best for yourself, right? This is not a good woman for you. You've said that already. It sounds a little bit toxic in some way. And then if she can't respect that, you have to block her so that you don't see these texts, because you're going to be continuously reeled in and reminded of her if you're allowing her to come into your world, into your sphere, into your inbox in any way. So you have to be the stronger person to say, not good for me, putting a boundary in place, cutting her off, and then move forward. And then if you want to move forward more confidently, you can join programs like our Inner Circle program, because you actually would be a really good candidate for this. The whole first section is all about like re-understanding who you are as a man, building your confidence. I just think it would be amazing for you. But separate from that, you work on you. You work on you, you focus on you, you build up your confidence. And then you build up your dating skills.
You guys want to go outside?
Oh.
I do have one more question for you.
Yeah.
And just curious, it's the same girl, but I'm just curious for further down the road. I had never been with someone that could squirt like on a dime. Like she squirts everywhere, whatever. Never had that really before. It would happen the first 30 seconds to a minute. And sometimes she'd say, "Well, I tried to go less because I knew I was on your couch." Or all I'm trying to say is, when they do that, are they actually having an orgasm? Or are they just able to squirt without having an orgasm?
There's more than over 11 types of orgasms. There's about 25 different types of orgasms available to women, about 15 available to men. And like you're asking, is like women can have an orgasm through a little bit of squirting, amount of squirting. It's called amrita. After that, she has all of these different orgasms available to her further in. Yes, it is an orgasm, and it changes all the time. It's kind of the refractory orgasm that doesn't finish. So there's not a definite answer to that. Like you're asking a question about a woman's body and her orgasm. That's like, it's immense. It's amazing. And some women do, some women don't. Like every woman is so different, but it is a part of the orgasmic makeup. There is no 1 + 2 = 3. There cannot be.
Can most women squirt?
We're all able to, yes.
Yeah,
but
every woman is capable of it, but
I mean, I've been with one of the girls that did like once or twice, and I'm like, whoa. And it was like, but anyway, with her, it was like whenever I went down, or it was instantaneously, virtually. And it was, yeah. And then one time she didn't come as much or whatever, squirt as much. And I said something, and she said, "Well, because I was on your couch and I didn't want to mess up your couch." I'm thinking, you can control that? Like she said, "Yeah, I can control that." Does that make, I don't know. To me,
she knows her body very well.
That's what she said. That's what she said. So
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Well,
that's how our body worked.
Appreciate it.
Normal. Okay. Thank you. Thanks, Rod. I'm going to go to R. Kelly. I'm not sure if that's real or
not the best name anymore. There's no jail. I promise.
Yeah, I know exactly. Jeez. Let's bring it back. Let's bring it back, R. Kelly. Come on.
All right, perfect. Well, similar situation, long-term relationship, 15 years is over. For me, again, getting back into dating right now, what I'm really looking to understand is what's the best approach to appeal to the widest range of women when you're starting to date and have sex again. Really quick preface, I have done Veducated. I have looked for those things. I've got all the 6s except for a 6-pack that's almost there.
Nice.
Thank you. But for me, previously, every partner that I had before, we'd been able to climax together and come and whatnot. I'm coming out of a relationship for 15 years where not once, right? So I have a lot of performance anxiety from that perspective, and I know that's not what I need. So what's the best way to appeal to the widest range of female possible at the current time. Not attraction, not flirting. I've done all of that, and that works really well. There's lots of candidates, but actually escalating the physicality.
Elaborate a little bit more on that question. So what is the best way to appeal to the widest range? So what do you mean by that? Like, well, obviously sexually, you mean like sexually, like
yeah.
But what do you mean?
When you're starting with touch, obviously you'll start with touch. You'll work from, kind of head down, side to side. Sorry, what's going on? Going through for sex right now, when you're starting with multiple new people, like you're not just going to go straight to missionary. You want to be attractive and enticing, and then have them come back again for something else. So what would you say is probably the
So you're looking for like a good routine, like a good tight 20.
What's the best routine to restart?
That you're saying without knowing people and their sexual preferences could appeal to the majority of people that you're sleeping with.
Yes.
That's a good question. All right. Sex experts, that's your question.
Amy.
Oh, I wish I could tell you that there was like one thing, but every woman is a little bit different.
But what are if you let's say you don't know this woman yet, you haven't had really good conversations with her to know exactly what she wants. How can you make sure at the end she's 75% happy with it, right? We want them to be able to pleasure the majority of women and then figure out the nuance. What would be
Sorry, there's the issue straight away. You can't have sex without a conversation. Like seriously. So it's just like to go into sexual intimacy without speaking, just taking clothes off without even knowing what her boundaries are, what her desires are, telling her what your boundaries are. Like to appeal to a broad spectrum of women, we're all different. You can't appeal to a broad spectrum of women with like this one trick pony thing. So the thing is conversation, honesty, vulnerability. And to ask. To ask and let them know what you're capable of, when I say capable, what your skills are, and create the invitation, because every single one.
How do you do that? So let's paint a picture of how you do that. Because for some that might be like, oh, you're taking all the fun out of it by having a conversation. But I know as a woman, that would make it even more exciting. So can we paint a picture of what that would look like?
I love this because I give this to all of my guys inside of the Inner Circle program. I've got 5 questions, and it's like, what are your, like you ask this on a date. What are your boundaries? What do you hope out of this connection? What's, that's a boundary. What's on the table? What's off the table? What do you like? What you don't like? You have got to have that conversation. Like I always say, you would never give someone the keys to your car, especially if you drive a manual and you've got a huge 4-wheel drive Porsche. Yeah. You're not going to give someone the keys without letting them know, without knowing if they can drive. It's the same thing to a woman's body. It's like, you've got to find out what does she need and what does she want from you?
Okay. So let's say you don't have this conversation. Is there way sexual, right? What would be the first move? What would be the first question?
A general suggestion that I would offer is, first of all, don't go straight for the boobs and the vagina, and also slow down. Like, I think there's just this tendency to go it's like, okay, I know I've got to rub the clit. I'm going to go like this. Like, start nice and slow and then slowly work your way up, and I mean, make her beg for it. Like, kiss every other part of her body until she is literally dying for you to kiss or suck on her nipples. Like, it's building that anticipation, I think, is such a critical piece of it. And it is going to look a little bit different for each woman. But when you are just really allowing her to relax into her pleasure and turn off her brain and just enjoy like the entire moment, then that is what makes you completely, totally unforgettable.
I think so too. And I talk about that a lot in my videos, about like slowing down, building tension. I'm going to repeat it again because Amy said this at the beginning of this class, that women take 20 minutes to become aroused. And
at least,
if you ever saw that movie, oh my God, 40 Days and 40 Nights, is that what it was called, with Josh
Hartnett.
Josh Hartnett. And it was about how he couldn't have sex for 40 days and 40 nights. because he's having sex all the time, but met this girl on like day 5 who he's like, I want to have sex with her. But he would do all of these things,
everything else,
to pleasure her, but he wasn't able to have sex. So he had this one scene where he would use this feather and like barely touched her. It was the hottest scene ever. And like,
that was so hot.
Orgasmed from it because she was just so aroused by it because of the non-touching. So to answer your question, this is a long-winded way of saying, slow, explore her body and tell her what it is that you're doing and why you're doing it. You want her to be pleasured. You want her to relax. You want to explore her body. You want her to feel everything she can. That's what gives her an incredible experience, not the penetration, not the boobs. Oh.
Ben.
Oh, go on mute. Again. Okay, so I hope that answers your question, R. Kelly, who I think we lost for some reason. But
no, he's there.
Your question, but slow and steady and explore. Just explore with confidence, right? Lick, tease, blow on, tickle, everything. That's what I love when my husband does, and it drives me absolutely insane. Okay, we're going to go to the next person. And ladies, are you okay staying a little bit longer? I know we said an hour, but I'm going to go on for about 10 more minutes. Is that okay?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah? Okay, let's go to Chad, who I think is on here as well. Chad, if you want to take yourself off mute to ask a question, that would be great. Hey.
Hey guys.
Handsome men on this call. I love it.
I know there are.
I mean, we're used to it though. Like every man who is
we
in
get
our
to flirt with hot men
Just
all the time in
amazing.
the inner circle. It's so fun.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. So here's what I got. 20 years. With my wife, I'm kind of choked up. I don't. Give me a second to kind of calm down.
Oh, you're a good husband. Okay, good.
I saw you guys on the internet and questioned even talking to you guys because it felt wrong.
Mm-hmm.
With all that said, our relationship has been good. We've had a really good relationship. However, early on, my wife stepped out, whatever. It made me question everything.
Yeah.
So with the internet, I'm going to try to push through this. I'm nervous. Sorry.
Okay. No, we are too. Don't worry. Take your time.
So it's with the internet pushing so much sex, and it's like, well, are you going to be a are you good? Do you know what you're doing? I have had very little experience in my life. I mean, I've had a handful of relationships, and that's it. So I don't have a lot of experience to back off. Now, is my sex life with my wife is it good? I think so, or at least I thought it was. And 20 years down the road, I'm still questioning, am I doing everything that I need to fulfill her? Well, then you start looking at it, you're like, oh man, these other girls are like squirting and stuff. That there's different levels, and it's like, well, she hasn't really, and neither one of us have been with very many partners. So it's like we're very, very, I don't want to say inexperienced because we've taken each other a lot of places.
Yeah.
However, you start questioning whether you've got what it takes or if you're actually doing enough. And if there's more that you can do to satisfy her, if she's not, it's like.
Yeah. So, Chris, I'm going to ask Chris that you mute yourself. Sorry about
We're
that.
kind of getting off track. Yeah, bring me
No,
back.
you're not getting off track. So, but Chris had taken himself off mute, so I got to just
Yep.
distracted. So I want to address this first, and I love that you're asking this question, but I want to reframe it a little bit because you guys are in a partnership, right? And even taking a step back, all of the men who are on this call right now, they're on here because, or you're on here, I'm going to speak to all of you, because you are men who want more. You are men who are curious. You are men who want guidance and instruction. And that is absolutely amazing. And as I said on the beginning of the call, these types of men, the type of men that each and every one of you are, simply because you're on this call, is the reason that women are and will be attracted to you, because you are not settling for the norm. You don't just want ho hum every day is good enough for me, right?
No, I mean,
No,
we've got
and I'm not.
we
I'm
got
not
4
gonna,
kids, and I want
yeah,
to continue with my relationship, and I want my relationship to be the best it can be.
yeah. And Chad, that doesn't mean that you have to be like, oh, how do I get my wife to squirt, and how do I put a butt plug in her? It can really just be exploring at your own level, right? Of what both of you want, need, are curious about. And it starts what Melissa was talking about several times during this presentation. It starts with curiosity and conversations. It starts with, even for you, you framed it as, what can I do for her to make sure I'm pleasuring her? Really, it's for you to think, what else do I want? Is there something else that I want? And it doesn't have to be, again, I want my wife to squirt. It can just be like, I want to learn how to give my wife 4 of those orgasms that Melissa mentioned, because I've only been giving her 2 of those kinds of orgasms, and I know there's 25, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
It's just
it's like
about
25.
yeah,
Really? I mean, yeah, okay,
keeping things
two or three
keeping things
maybe.
fresh. Yeah, exactly. So there's more to discover, right? And I know, listen, you have 4 kids, I have 2 kids. It's easy to do the bare minimum because you're freaking exhausted. You have double what I have. But if you can be the man who leads in this way, she's got everything else covered. I can guarantee I know how your wife is. She has everything else covered. All she wants you to take care of her. If you can be the one to lead for new things in the bedroom by sparking her brain, having conversations, bringing up new ideas, or even learning something that you say, hey, I want to try this out next time, or I want to try this out tonight on you. Or even when you're in there just trying it out on her and saying, like, you sit back, I want to try something different. That is absolutely amazing. And that is an arousal button for women.
Because and that's the problem. It's like, for her, she wants me, and it's natural, and it is in the bedroom. Like, I am the leader, and she I mean, we do, our sex life is good. It's good, but I still question it because she doesn't really give a lot of feedback.
No,
And
well,
she's
ask
like, well,
for it.
everything you're doing is amazing. Like, she's like, you're fantastic. And so
I'm gonna
So then
turn
you're
to
fantastic.
Melissa and Amy for this one because I want you guys to give some other ways that Chad can communicate with his wife about this, because it sounds like you're looking for potential like direction from her on how to expand, but to me it sounds like you need to do some thinking about what else you want to try, because she seems satisfied. I know you're fearful that she'll step out again, maybe like underneath this if she's not satisfied, but it sounds like you also need to explore what you want. But I'm going to let Amy and Melissa tackle this one as well.
thank you.
I think
You guys are great, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
Chad, I
too.
have
Thanks
also
for
been
asking
married.
this question. This is tough.
Yeah. You know, Chad, I've also been married for 20 years. I have 3 children, so I very much relate to a lot of what you're saying. And I love that you guys have this good sex life. And what I'm hearing is you're saying, you know, things are good enough, but what else is out there? And I don't even know how to explore that. I don't even know what to look for. And what I really love about this is recognizing that there is actually no limit to the amount of pleasure and experiences that you guys can have together. And when you have that basis of trust and vulnerability and the solid marriage and the solid relationship that you already have, that's the key, that's the foundation, right? And so now, you know, the number one thing that I hear with my clients is women is they want to women want to try something new. They're bored with the kiss kiss, touch touch. I do this to you, you do this to me. We do this, we finish up 20 minutes. I mean, okay, yeah, I love you. That was great. And yes, we had orgasms. That was fine. That was fun. But what else is there, right? So, like from a very tactical perspective, my advice is change up the routine. Like do something a little bit different. Bring in a toy. See if you can get all the kids out of the house for a little
Do
bit.
that on
And
occasion. It's, I mean, I got a swing. The swings are great. They're
yeah,
fantastic. Like all
This is
the
amazing.
but it's like it's this newfound pressure that you see online that you question, and it makes you question everything. That is like, and it's like, oh my God, like this is such trash.
online,
I hate social media for this.
What you see in porn and what we see even in movies in Hollywood, that is not realistic. That is not how real sex and intimacy works. Okay. It's not like all men do not have rock hard cocks for an hour, nor do women want that for that matter. All women aren't squirting, and it's just not how actual intimacy works in real relationships. So, I hear you questioning yourself, and I feel like it's shaking your confidence. And Chad, from what you're sharing, it sounds like your wife is quite happy. And I would believe that. And now that doesn't mean don't go grab another toy, because toys are fun, right? But I think that you need to really look at this in the eyes of this woman that you love and trust that when she's saying, I'm having a good time, and say, okay, we're having a good time. Wonderful. Is there something that you're thinking about? Is there something that you're curious, and let her lead you in that?
Yeah.
I agree.
Melissa?
Yeah, and I was just saying, like, as far as discovering anything, it's like anything. Every time, if you have a business on Instagram, the algorithm's always changing, and you've got to go and learn how to do another way of doing real. The same thing with sex and intimacy. There's so many, if there's an exploration that you and your beloved want to do together, there's so many courses, there's so many retreats. It's like, if you're concerned about something and you want more skills, book yourself into a retreat with your beloved about it. Like, there's no shame about discovering. Everything is curiosity and information. Just like how we do one thing is how we do everything. Like, sex is not meant to be in this silo that we got to work out on ourselves. There is so many ways to learn new skills, and you learn them together. And as Amy said, trust her. If a woman's telling you that she's happy, like, going into your head deciding that it's something different is kind of like, you get to ask her, hey, my brain's telling me this. But I would trust her. And it's a conversation to have with her. Yeah. It's a fun, exciting conversation to have with your partner.
Yeah, trusting that she's happy, and I hear you don't want to become complacent, and I love that, right? So, but she says she's happy, she's having a good time. Awesome. Okay, well, cool. Well, maybe we can go into a sex shop together, and like, let's pick out a new toy together. That is keeping up that variety, that change, keeping things from getting boring and routine. And I think that as long as you keep doing that, then your pleasure, your connection, your intimacy is going to grow, and you're going to create something that's just right for the two of you. Don't try to replicate what you're seeing, because it's not real and it's not yours. And you guys can create the perfect, amazing path and journey for yourselves.
So Chad, ignore the internet except for the ads you see of me in my YouTube videos, and ignore everything else.
Everything else.
I hear you. Yeah.
There you go. Thank you, Chad. Thank you for asking that question.
It's great. I mean, because usually it's like I feel bad for even talking about it sometimes. It's like I don't want to bring it up. I don't want to talk to anybody about it's about what goes on.
Well, that's something you got to change too.
Well, yes, I agree, because, and I'm like, well, am I wrong to talk about
what they're doing in the bedroom?
Well, they try, and I shut them down, because I'm like, I just feel bad. I don't want to.
If you don't want to share it that way, then talk to our wing girls, and we will. Trust me, I understand not wanting to share that with your friends and maybe know what you do in your private space. I talk to my girlfriends about everything. They know everything about my sex life. They know all the ups, all the downs, everything. I share it because it makes me feel better, and then I get feedback, input, reassurance, guidance, advice, and most important, like that's why we're all here right now. This is sharing. You sharing this just probably helped 20 other people who are on this call. So sharing has massive benefits. And I understand you may not want to share everywhere, but find spaces that you can share that feel comfortable for you. There's tons of men's circles that can be very removed from your friendship circle. So I would say go find spaces and places that you can share openly, because bottling all of this up inside of you is not beneficial for you, for your sex life, for your penis, all of it. It's no good. All right.
Well, I'll tell you right now that you guys are amazing. And instead of, single men, I think you guys could help a lot of guys
Oh
that
my
just
God,
want
we
to feel
do.
time and
Yeah.
repair,
We do. So
repair
actually, in our inner
relationships.
circle program, I would say like 30% of the men that are in that program are married. And we're helping them reignite their relationships with their wives. So Miranda, who actually does most of the coaching for men who are married, she gets emails every single day from men saying like, we had sex again. She gave me a blowjob again. She even just like, she sat on my lap again and wanted to talk to me. So
Right.
so thank you for saying that. And we need to start advertising that more, but we are definitely, because I think for all, of us on the call too, that's the space that we're in now as well. Many of my wing girls are single, but Amy and I were married. We have kids. That's the area that we're
Sure.
so we get it. Yeah. So thanks for saying that.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks,
Yeah.
Chad.
No worries. You guys are great.
Thanks. All right. We're going to go for one more question, maybe a few more, to Dennis, if you're still up here to be on the calls, if Dennis wants to take himself off.
Hi, I'm here. I can't get the picture to come up, but I'm
Well,
not.
that's not good. All right. Well, let's hear.
Said the host has stopped it, so
There you go. Perfect. Hey, Dennis.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good.
Good. Appreciate this whole evening with us here. I'm 74 years old. I was married for 52 years. My wife passed away a year ago tomorrow.
Oh, wow.
But
how are you doing?
I've dealt with it. Everything's going well there. I've had interesting turn of events the last month or so. I have a lady friend that my wife and I knew for about 5 years, good friend and everything. Last month, she has made it clear that she is interested, and we have gotten together several times.
Okay.
My question is the fact that it's been a long time for me.
Okay.
My wife had some health issues, so it's been like 8 years since we had made love. There's an old saying, though, if you don't use it, you lose it. Yeah. I was never well endowed by any stretch of the imagination, but over the years, I am not very big. And we've had wonderful relations, even with that. But I've been seeing all these ads on things like Boosteroo and some of these other pills that are supposed to make you grow and all this stuff there. Is there anything to any of those? Is that all just hype, or any of those actually work? We shouldn't even bother.
Well, first of all, thank you for even asking that question and just being so raw. I think this is amazing that you're asking this, because I know this is going to help a lot of guys. Melissa and Amy, do you want to tackle this?
Amy, do you want to go first? I'm answering a question in the chat. Yeah.
Sure. Well, Dennis, first of all, I love that you have this woman that is coming into your life and is bringing you joy and fun. And yes, bodies have changed. And, I think the first thing, and I mentioned this earlier too, a big, hard penis is not the end all be all of everything. It really isn't. Okay. And that's not to say that it's not a part of the experience, but I think that the way that we have been taught about sex, the way that we have been taught that sex is supposed to work, there's just this, it has to be penis and vagina. And if it's not working, then the whole event is a failure. And so, you know, again, I will say you have all of these other wonderful parts of your body. You've got your tongue and you've got your fingers and you've got all of these other
I've been
things. And
exploring
there's,
those avenues as well there.
yeah.
It's been a
And
long
so,
time, but it's coming back to me.
There you go.
yeah,
Just like a
yeah,
bicycle.
absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that, you know, when you start to look at sex as a whole experience, you know, just exploring with all of the different parts, then, you know, and then if your penis is there and if your erection is there and if things are working well, okay, fantastic, right? But if it changes and maybe you lose your erection, then just switch gears. And Melissa, what else do you have to add here?
Yeah, I would love to add, it's like, you know, as Amy's already said, like what we taught about sex. Sex is how we satiate our desires. And on the other end is penetration for women is so often underwhelming. You know, it's like where the masculine, the man's going for penetration, women's just like, okay, you know, it's actually more underwhelming than incredible. So if we shift our mindset away that the penetration is the thing that needs to happen, you have, as we went before, when I threw out these numbers about orgasms, there's energetic orgasm, there's connection. A woman is so much more concerned about truly being connected with you, being seen by you, being received by you, where you can receive her. And as we've said, you know, over and over again, it's like your tongue and your fingers, like the way that a woman's, you know, she has a U orgasm. There's a U spot. They're never spots, but, you know, male doctors come in and go, Mount Everest, like I've just discovered it. No, we've had it forever. But just right inside of the entrance of the vagina, there's a whole, you know, erogenous zone. Her clitoris is an erogenous zone that needs, you know, her vulva, her, like her labia lips are erogenous zones. There's so much more available. And often too, you know, her cervix needs to be like touch really gently, and the fingers are the best thing for that as opposed to cock. So I think it's the mindset of like, this is everything I have. I may not have this. And, you know, with all of the work I've done and that I've also done with women, it's like soft cock is really beautiful because it's so vulnerable. We get to connect with who you are as a man in that moment instead of the guy that's believing he's not enough. So I think it's a true shift, you know, true shift in the mentality of what's not working and having the array of everything else that is working, which is so delicious. And
I've been trying to concentrate on her more so than myself. She seems to be happy so far. It's made me happy making her.
Exactly. And you have so many more orgasms available to you as well, as opposed to just the ejaculatory orgasm. So you also have to explore that she gets to explore with you as well. I mean, you have time. You guys have got all the time in the world. Like, go.
Yes.
All right. So thank you, Dennis.
Well, thank you so much.
So much for that question.
Thank you.
So, gentlemen, after everything we've covered about sex and intimacy tonight, I want to ask you, have you enjoyed what we've shared with you? Put a 1 in the chat if you have gained insight from what Melissa and Amy and I have shared with you tonight. Okay, lots of 1s. I love it. And everybody stick around because I have a big announcement for all of you who are left on this call. All those losers who left early, they missed out on this. I'm just kidding. They'll find out about it afterwards. But Amy and Melissa and I are actually, Amy and Melissa are amazing. And as we've mentioned many times on this call, what they did tonight, they do every single week for the amazing men that are part of our Inner Circle program. Now, I know you still have tons of questions to ask us, some that you may not feel comfortable sharing in this public forum, questions that are unique to you. And I want you to get answers to those questions right now. So here's what I want to do. Okay. As Amy and Melissa were answering your questions, I messaged my team and told them that I want to give away 50 strategy sessions to any man that was on this call. Not anybody else, but only men that were on this call. That's 50 free 30-minute strategy sessions. First come, first serve. These sessions are calls with you and my team where we will literally tell you exactly what you need to do to be successful with women in the bedroom, out of the bedroom, wherever you want. Not what men can do, but what you specifically need to do. Meaning, we are going to dive into you, your history with women, where you have gone wrong in the past, what you are doing right, but women may not be able to see. And by the end of the call, we're going to create a clear path and plan for moving forward with women. So it will be just like this call tonight, except it will be customized to you, all about you and your specific situation with women or a specific woman. The reason that I want to give these away is because I see how much you need this information. There was like a ton of questions that we could not get to, and I want to answer all of these questions. I want each and every one of you who are on this call, still on this call, to get one of these sessions because you stayed on. You are listening, and I know who will take action and not waste our time, and we will not waste yours. I want my team to dive into your dating life, your confidence with women, and yes, your intimate relationships too, and figure out what the heck is going on. If you want one of these 50 free 30-minute strategy sessions with my team, I want you to sign up now because these spots always fill up so fast. There's like 1,000 people on this call still. So if you want one of these 50 spots, you have to sign up fast. So let me just get you the link and that you need to use to sign up for these calls. Okay, I am going to get it right now. I'm going to post it in the chat for everyone. Okay. Okay, I'm going to put it right there. Let me know if that link works. Oh, Jess just sent it as well. Okay, good. Perfect. And some of you, I wasn't able to respond to all of the questions that were on here. Listen, there was like 1,500 of you. I'm so sorry that we didn't get to these questions. But these free calls, these strategy sessions, this is where you're going to get to ask your specific questions. Just like these guys did on the call, you will get a half an hour that is dedicated to you so you can ask your questions, whether you're married, you're widowed, you're not in a relationship, you're out of a relationship, you're divorced. Like, this call is for each of you, and my team will answer all of your questions. Okay. So I want you to go to winggirlmethod.com/free call with a wing girl, 2 G's, winggirlmethod.com/free call with a wing girl. And then when you get to this page, there's going to be an application to sign up for this free call with us. And the reason that we do this, why we have an application, is because we want to know if you're serious, because we only want to talk to guys that are serious. If you're not serious enough to answer a few questions, you're definitely not serious enough to take the guidance that we give you and put it to practice. And by the way, we've done over 13,000 of these calls over the past 4 years, and 95% of the men who get on these calls and then put what we say to work have had extreme success with women, meaning they're getting girlfriends, they're getting tons of dates and sex. Many have now gotten married. I was talking about that before, but these guys have changed their lives after just this call. These aren't just little talks with my team. These calls are the start of a new existence with women and a new way of doing things that get you everything you want with women. And I want to be really transparent with you. These calls are with members of my team who are experts at dissecting what is going on with you and with women. The people on these calls are trained by me, and they're going to dig in and find out why you are not getting the results with women you should be having. They're going to find out what is going on with you, what limiting beliefs are there. They'll find out the things in your dating life that are working and not working for you. They're going to dig deep with you. And together, you are going to, they're going to work with you to create a path, a plan, so that you can have everything you want with women, everything you've ever dreamed of with women. Some people, they're going to advise to be part of our Inner Circle coaching program. I think many of you that we've talked to tonight on this call are excellent candidates for this program. It's right up your alley, especially Chad, who we spoke with. Some of you are going to get 5 or 10 pieces of advice, and then they're going to send you on your way. The whole purpose of these calls is to dig in together and figure out what is going on and what kind of assistance and help you need. So I invite each of you on this call to go to that link that I shared. I think Jess is going to share it as well. Yeah, and Amy just shared it too. Okay, she's sharing it too. But the link is winggirlmethod.com/free call with a wing girl. There are only 50 slots available, and they typically go very quickly, right? Honestly, this one little call, I know, is going to change your life. What you are going to gain from this call is going to send you down a completely different path. You will not be frustrated. You will not be confused. You will get clarity from just 30 minutes with my team. So when you get on the call, I want you to tell my team about you, tell them how serious you are about getting help, tell them how ready you are to take action, and listen to all of the advice they give. And then my team will work their butts off to get you results. Results that will make you wildly, wildly successful with women. We've been doing these calls for the past 4 years and have helped thousands of guys just like you. 99% of the men that get on these calls with us say it was the first step to getting them more dates, more options, more overall confidence, and at least 40% of the men that we've talked to actually report getting into long-term relationships shortly after having these calls and taking the action that we suggested on the call. So I want you to go apply, use the link that Justice posted. She keeps posting it. George reposted it. And let's get on the phone and start making a plan. I want to thank all of you for being here tonight, all of you that asked questions and came on camera and just shared with us. That was freaking amazing. You guys are badasses. You're absolute badasses. And I want you to know that and remember that. And what I said at the beginning of the call about you guys being amazing men, because you want to learn, because you want answers, because you want to grow, this is what makes you freaking attractive to women. Amy confirmed it. Melissa confirmed it. I'm confirming it to you. I've interviewed nearly like 10,000 women now. They will all confirm the same thing. Men who continue to lead and want to push forward and not just settle for ho-hum boring, these are the men that we want to be with. Now let's just package you properly so that women can actually see this about you, learn this about you, and then they will become absolutely obsessed with you. Amy and Melissa, thank you so much. You ladies are absolutely wonderful. Thank you for being my sexy wing girls for tonight. You are so knowledgeable, and I absolutely love everything that you shared. And men, go to that link. There's only about, what did Jess just say? Okay, there's about 29 spots available. Nope. 26 spots available. So make sure you do sign up for one of those free strategy sessions with my team. Thank you so much for coming onto this call, and I'll see you guys next time. Okay. Bye, guys. Thank you.
Bye, guys.
See you. Ciao, ciao.
J.Swiercz here, signing off.